Hi, Dan. It's Margie with Basmati. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Margie?
I'm great, thank you. Today we're chatting with Dan Hendricks with New Leaf Ayurveda. And Dan's going to share a little bit about his journey and how he started with New Leaf and his little personal story.
All right. Well, about 2012, so about 5 years ago, I was dealing with some health conditions of my own, and I had briefly kind of heard of Ayurveda here and there, read it in books, seen it like on the toothpaste I bought at Whole Foods, and so I had a little bit of awareness of it, and I knew that it was some kind of health modality. It was related to yoga and to Indian culture somehow. And anyway, so I went to a few doctor's visits dealing with some health issues, and was just kind of frustrated with, the nasty medication they were giving me and the way it made me feel. And I was kind of fed up with our whole system, so I Googled Ayurveda Sacramento, and I found New Leaf Ayurveda. I booked an appointment, and I went in to New Leaf, and I was like a runner on the block. That's what I like to say. Like I was ready to go. You tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it. I went in there with that attitude, and it was very different than anything I'd ever experienced before. Because like for the first reason why it was different is because it was like somebody actually cared.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a lot of triage where it's really interesting. I always felt like I go to the doctor. It's like when I actually see the doctor, it's like a cameo appearance.
Yeah.
And so it was a 2-hour initial health consultation. And then through that, it was like she was asking me questions. She took my pulse. And it wasn't just about like, what I thought it was, which would be like, you're just going to give me herbs or whatever you're going to give me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more about like, also like exploring my own consciousness and the patterns and the rhythms that I've kind of like, that are causing my troubles in life. It's a deeper, more holistic look at my health than just that. And of course, when I left, I was given, recommendations and for diet, lifestyle, Ayurvedic herbs and things of that nature. And then I just followed the program. I just took those recommendations to heart, those dietary changes. I implemented them, and voila.
Voila, yeah.
Well, within a few months, and, it was, I took my health in my own hands. I did the things that were recommended of me, and I experienced what I was looking for originally, which was basically the release of the grip of bad, poor health conditions, to put it in a nice way. I'm actually trying not to use the word disease, but because it's commonly kind of misunderstood. Where like if you put the hyphen between dis and ease, that's really what it's about. It's about discomfort within the body.
Yeah.
And so when I use that word, I don't want people to think that it just means serious chronic condition.
You said something very powerful, in that you were given the tools and you used them, and you took responsibility for your health yourself, and you ran with it, which is a beautiful, beautiful gift you've given yourself, and what a great experience you've had. Right.
I mean, and that's in our culture. I think that's one of the biggest things that I think we just inherit from everyone around us, and just kind of the culture we live in, which is that somebody else is responsible for our health. We're allowed to eat whatever we want, do whatever we want, and then they will come and help me.
Yeah, it's an externalization, right? And it's actually giving away our power and for me, it's on a huge consciousness level also. It's not just the physical part, but it's a loss of self inside, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you hit it nail right on the head, which is just the giving away of our own power.
Yeah. And you took that back physically and emotionally, it sounds like. And not only physically, because you glow when I see you. So, and it's a beautiful thing to be in your presence, but it's also the consciousness that you carry along with that. So it all works together, which is a system, right?
Right. Well, and thank you for that compliment. And absolutely. I mean, it's just it's so important. I mean, once we get empowered and we do the things that help bring us back. I mean, that's where we get more in touch with ourselves, and so much of our lives can just open up. And it's not just your health on a physical sense, but our health on an emotional sense, our ability to maintain relationships with other people in all aspects of our life, our ability to engage properly. I mean, it's really endless.
It is endless. Our perception of things, everything changes. So it's really unbelievable what can happen in our lives when we allow it to happen and make the choice and have the courage to move forward, right?
Right.
So let's share a little bit about the integrative Ayurvedic massage, and I need a sip of water, and what that is and what that looks like for someone coming in.
Okay. So with Ayurveda, like I had mentioned, like I came in for the consultation, right? Well, that's the way that Ayurveda kind of works. Is there's kind of like two branches of Ayurveda. There is that branch of consultation, herbs and diet, which is kind of like the long path. Because what I mean by that is that stuff, if you follow those recommendations, you do make the changes in your life, you get that source of empowerment, and you start connecting, then, it works in the long term for you. Now, the other part of Ayurveda is the Ayurvedic body therapies, which includes Ayurvedic massage and something called Panchakarma. And what this is the hands-on approach. This is about addressing the physical body in its condition and state that it is in now, and affecting it with the application of the proper treatment and correct oils and topical applications that are going to work the best to bring the person back into balance. And so it's addressing it in the here and the now.
Awesome.
That's the power of the body therapy.
So what does that look like when someone comes in? So if I'm coming to you and someone's listening who has not experienced it, how long does the session last typically? Do they have to wear something special?
Okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So everything is individualized for the person. And so what it boils down to is the time frame that they're booked for.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the number one determining factor about what we can do. So typically what we're going to perform, which is what is recommended most widely, is the Abhyanga, it's an Abhyanga massage, which is a massage with Ayurvedic oil, but now which is selected for the particular individual. So we have about 20 different oils to choose from. So, but now I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, and let me go back to what you were actually asking me, which is, so if you came into the clinic, if you came into the doors of New Leaf Ayurveda for your appointment, and let's say we have an hour session. Well, so what I'm going to do is we're going to talk, and I'm going to find out where you're at, what conditions you're experiencing, and I'm also going to be doing an assessment, and then I'm going to do a quick pulse assessment also to find out kind of what's going on inside. And then I'm going to talk with the client, or let's say you're the client, Margie. I would be talking with you, and I would be wanting to know what your goal for the treatment is, why you're coming in, what you would want accomplished. So I have an idea of what I see as needs to be done as a practitioner. what I feel needs to be done and what it is that you're wanting to.
And my expectation. Yeah.
Expectation, right? Because if you're coming in for one thing and I'm wanting to do another, that's never going to work.
Yeah.
And I have to, at that point, assess if what you're looking for can be achieved or what level can be expected to be achieved during this session today.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that it's also very personalized and unique to the individual and their needs.
Oh, and that is yes. Ayurveda.
Yes, and so I really want to get that point across, that it's really personalized and unique. The fact that you figure out what oils are going to work for me today, you know, and they may change in 6 months, right? Based on my needs at that moment. Yeah.
It might change by the next time you come. It might change by tomorrow. Exactly.
By tomorrow. That's right. And so that is a really important factor to get across for me, because we are all not the same, and we all come with, yes, we have similarities, but we all come with a unique gifts and unique things that we want to have worked on, right? And so, it's very personal. So that's partly why I asked you that question, is because I know that it's not a one-stop shop for, like, everyone does the same thing, is what I mean. I'm not going in and not everyone's getting the same type of massage or oil. So thank you for sharing that.
And one other thing I would like to add too, I mean, to really supercharge it, is if you're actually engaging in both branches. You know, if you're seeing, if you're coming in for health consultation, and so I mean, if you're taking the herbs and everything, you're already on that path, and you're coming into the treatments. I mean, that's really when you start to see the effects of Ayurveda work. That's where you can really experience the change and the transformation.
That's awesome. Now let's share a little bit about yoga.
Okay.
How
Absolutely.
Go for it. So do you do personalized yoga? Is that what you do?
Yes, I do private yoga sessions.
Okay.
Because everything that we do at New Leaf is through the lens of Ayurveda, which is for the individualized constitution of the person. So that's why we don't offer group classes. We have tried that in the past. And it is a very, there's a couple of things that we've come up against, which is A, trying to market that, but B, it's because if we do everything individualized, once you have a group of people, it becomes a huge amount of compromise.
Yeah.
Because if you've got one person who is, maybe they're overweight and they're needing to do a more active practice, and then maybe you have somebody that just got off working 6 days, 10 hours a day, and they just need restorative.
Yeah.
So it becomes a point of you're trying to balance all this, because the thing is, the key with the yoga classes that I have, I don't ever, whenever I have a yoga session with anybody, with any client, I never have a predetermined set of, like, we're going to do these poses or whatever. It's always where they're at in the moment. It's bringing that lens of Ayurveda to the physical yoga practice. And so, and typically what you would experience with these private sessions would be, of course, you're going to do what is commonly known as yoga, which is the body work, the asana, the physical practice. But there's also going to be breath work. And what I always recommend for people is, it's like there's kind of 3 ways to go about it, 3 levels, I should say, which the first level is just focusing on the breath, just being aware of the breath. And then there's, moving with each breath, and then there's, which is just like, okay, inhale and exhale. And then there's, like, the third level is when everything is initiated by the breath. All movement is initiated by the breath. Everything is done by one. And that's when you can experience the most, like, the most centering and the most balancing and the most greatest sense of inner peace. It's when it turns into a moving meditation.
Yeah. And so how often would someone, I know this is a generalized question, and since it's so individualized. But if I'm working with you and I have shifted my nutrition and my diet, and I'm taking herbs and I'm doing massages, is it based on what the individual wants and their needs and how often I would practice yoga?
Right. Personally, what my preference is to be able to teach the individual how to be able to go to sculpt their own practice for themselves and be able to duplicate these things so they don't have to come to me. And I know that's a terrible business model.
No, it's fabulous. It is totally teaching self-healing and self-empowerment in the most beautiful way. And that's what this is about.
Right. It's like, because I think about that a lot. What I think about is like, I think about what a teacher is. I think about the word, like if I'm a yoga teacher, if I call myself a yoga teacher, what does a teacher do? A teacher is supposed to teach you a subject so that you don't have to come back.
Yes. And not create dependency, right? This codependent relationship.
Right. Because other than that, it's like, wouldn't I just then be a yoga instructor? Or, I shouldn't use that word. So I've really embraced that idea of like, well, I know this is just getting into the semantics of language, but I've really like embraced that idea of like, you know what, I'd rather be a teacher of it. I'd rather help people do that. So a lot of times what I will do with individuals is, so we'll do I'll find out, like we'll talk, we'll sit down for like 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how well I know the person, if they're brand new, it could be more towards the 10-minute mark. But if it's someone I'm already working with in the clinic, maybe I've already done some massages, then especially if I've done massages, I have an idea of what's going on in their body and what they need in the first place. And so then, anyway, we get them in there, and I'll have an idea on the spot. Okay, I'm thinking this is going to be the series of poses that are going to work best for this person. And so what we do is we get in there, and what I usually do is I either ask for their phone, or I take my own phone and I take pictures of every pose that we get into.
Awesome.
And then I just put it together after that. Either because they have it on their own phone, or else I'll send it to them either in email form or some form where all the pictures are there. And a lot of times what I do is I'll copy and paste the pictures and then write a little descriptive words, with some little instructions, like I say. And I take notes also as a teacher. Because if someone says, oh, yeah, that's a great way to explain, move, my left leg backwards or something like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Like all those little hints that are going to work for the specific individual, all the commands and the cues and stuff. So
that's fabulous. I love it. It's all totally. I'm absolutely loving most about this today. I mean, all of it, but is the self-empowerment and truly that we have the ability for self-healing with the tools around us, where we have practitioners like you who share that information with us and teach us how to take care of ourselves, right? And what that's like. And then that's given back to you. You know that. Like it all flows and works together. It's so beautiful. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. This is Dan Hendricks. He's at newleafsac.com. You can find that website on Basmati. And Dan, anything else you'd like to share before we go?
Just thank you for taking the time to have me up here on the interview. And
yay! Of course. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.
You as well.
We'll chat soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.